news and information. We're gonna graze over it because y'all know I like to do it twice in a day. So we're gonna do it twice in a day. We're gonna talk about a couple of things. Then we're gonna be talking about celebrating this. Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start talking about the things that are important with news and information. So the first thing that I want to definitely go over is what's currently happening in the news. We can jump right into it and get that out of the way. I promise you, I am not. We're not going to talk for long, but we're going to talk. We're still going to talk. We're going to do the things. Hey, Cindy, how are you? Let's jump into it. A couple of things that we know are happening right now within the news sphere is, let's see. Trump officially nominates Kevin Warsh as Fed chair to replace Jerome Powell. So this just dropped earlier today, y'all. He's officially asked the Senate to consider Kevin Warsh, a former Federal Reserve governor, to be the central bank's chair. Let's talk about that real quick. I definitely wanted to put some other stuff on your mind. The formal nomination is the first step in what would be an uphill battle for the president as he sets out to install a rate cut friendly economist at the helm of the Fed. Now, Warsh would succeed Jerome Powell, who Trump has repeatedly, and y'all know this, he has repeatedly attacked him for declining to cut interest rates. And why should he? Hey, Tammy. Hey, Kathleen Christie. How are you? Come on in this room. If confirmed by the Senate, Warsh would begin his 4-year term after Powell's term ends on May 15th. And if the White House gets its way, he'd also be confirmed for a 14-year term as a member of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve. Now, that's the board seat currently held by Fed Governor Stephen Miron, another rate cut advocate whom Trump nominated in September. Miron's term expired at the end of January, but he can stay on the board until a successor is confirmed. How about that? So there you go. Just wanted to kind of share that with you guys really quick. I know with everything that's happening right now with the news and information that's going on, a lot of times we miss these details. And I still say that all of these details matter. That's why in the morning, you're going to get the news screenshots from brownstoneworldwide.com first thing in the morning. So you'll see other things that are happening. And then also you're going to get me doing the business news as well. A couple things we wanted to definitely cover is the evacuation efforts. An update has been provided. When you would call an 800 number that was set up, if you were in the Middle East and you were caught in the Middle East trying to get out, you would call the U.S. Emergency hotline for this, and they would tell you currently there is no one that can help you. Like, what? There's no one to help you. You're going to have to basically figure it out on your own. Now, that information has changed, right? And so what we're doing now is kind of talking about what they're doing. So a war powers resolution aimed at curbing U.S. attacks on Iran from continuing without congressional approval literally failed in the Senate today. Let's talk about that first. With weeks of strikes likely ahead, they're saying 8 weeks. We all know it's going to be much longer than that. The State Department announced it would charter planes. And this is what I want to talk about. So they're going to start chartering planes to evacuate American citizens from the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia. Okay. Airlines are also scrambling to fly passengers out after most of the region closed its airspace. At least 6 U.S. service members have actually lost their lives since Saturday's joint U.S.-Israeli attack on Iran, which killed the country's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. We know now that those numbers that I just provided to you in terms of Americans losing their lives is actually much larger than that, according to sources at the BBC and Al Jazeera English, as well as other news outlets from around the globe. That number is way, way off. Now, let's talk about Morgan Stanley. They're eliminating, sit down, Morgan Stanley is eliminating 2,500 roles within the company. Yes. Now, what's happening is they're reshaping their priorities within the U.S. and abroad, and that's according to Wall Street Journal reports. And the cuts, which represent about 3% of the bank's workforce, is going to impact employees across 3 major units. Wealth management, investment banking, and investment management. Morgan Stanley had a blockbuster year in 2025, notching record annual revenue in its investment building and trading divisions. And the layoff comes as, you guessed it, AI-driven job cuts behind it sweep across industries, including banking and finance. And it wouldn't surprise me if it would be more. Airline scheduling at Chicago O'Hare, it's clashing and boiling over. So a bitter flight capacity battle at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport is boiling over, with American Airlines accusing United Airlines of reckless scheduling. Now, both intend to expand at O'Hare, and that's actually the busiest U.S. airport in terms of takeoffs and landings last year, which has contributed to peak forecasts of nearly 3,100 daily flights. And O'Hare, literally, I don't think is as big as Atlanta's. And so I'm surprised that that's even happening. Well, anyway, 3,100 daily flights last summer, way above last summer's 2,680. And that has prompted the Federal Aviation Administration to step in, limiting daily capacity to about 2,800. Now, Amazon is doing some more layoffs. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Amazon is laying off workers in its robotics division this week amid a broader cost-cutting push, according to Business Insider reports. The decision was difficult but necessary. Amazon Robotics Vice President Scott Dresser has actually said in a message to employees Tuesday, though it remains unclear how many roles were eliminated. Amazon has cut over 57,000 corporate roles since 2022, including its January layoff, which impacted 16,000 workers. The tech giant has recently trimmed underperforming businesses like Amazon Fresh and Go. Do y'all remember Amazon Fresh and Go? That's how fast it went, Fresh and Go, while pouring billions into AI initiatives. And OpenAI is cutting the cringe with new ChatGPT 5.3 instant. So they're doing that because OpenAI would tell you to calm down. I don't know if anybody has ever used it, but it would actually talk back to you like that. And I've shared with you guys that my unit, actually, his name is Robert. We've given him a name. His name is Robert McCall. And he actually talks to me if you let it. If you wanted to, it will absolutely talk to you. So I think it's kind of funny. And I know a lot of you are like, well, why are you staying with OpenAI? Yes, until I decide that I will not be. And we know that there are several reasons why, especially since Anthropic told the government, no, we are not going to be digging into people's private information like that. And so OpenAI took the contract. What exactly that means is not clear. But when OpenAI was discovered to have taken the contract with the United States government, they lost a large amount of people literally within minutes. Literally minutes, people started closing down their accounts and transferring their content over. So let's talk about that content just for a minute, because there are several different options that are available to each one of us. We don't necessarily have to use OpenAI's ChatGPT. There's also Google Gemini, which, by the way, I think is absolutely amazing. We also have for image creation, Nano Banana. And then you also have Sora, which of course is a part of OpenAI's platform of products. And there are so many different others that you can use. So you're not beholden to one. You just have to find the one that works for you. And of course, is following up with any kind of, hey, Alana's Corner, UGC 50, how you doing? Love the new haircut, girl, and them nails. Let's talk about it, okay? Love it. Speaking of, I'm so glad you came in here. Let's pivot, shall we? Let's talk about UGC. Let's talk about the things. So today, I started getting invites from companies that want me to create content for them. So I have started accepting additional projects. I had a project over the weekend that I've done for, you'll never know who it is because I have been sworn to, to secrecy, right? But they put me up in a hotel for 4 days and I did some filming for them. And I thought that was pretty cool. And we're going to make sure that we get paid. You know what I mean? And so once the work was done and it was edited, so you'll never know it was me. My face is not in it. You don't see my hands. You don't see anything. The only thing that you'll see is the B-roll work that I was provided to do for them, which is pretty cool. Now, why am I bringing this up? I'm so glad Alana came in here. Number one, because I had an interesting experience yesterday with someone that came knocking at my door. Alana, I don't know if this has happened to you or not, but we need to have this conversation. So yesterday, so we film a lot. Brownstone Worldwide actually films locally for companies that need to have it done, right? So I have a small team of people that we go out and we actually do podcasting for people. We do some collaborations, and then again, this opportunity came along, and honey, I quickly packed my bags and did not return home. I actually did a late checkout, honey. I might as well. Well, anyway, so back to the topic at hand. So I am recognizable, just like I know that Alana, you're recognizable. There are times that you can go out and you will be recognized for some of the commercials that you do. One in particular is a brand that does tarot cards. And I have been spotted at the post office. I've been spotted at local retail outlets and stuff like that. And I don't know how I feel about that. It was almost uncomfortable, right? Because you have people that follow you or ask you, and then people that know you personally, they'll send you text messages and say, oh, well, I want a free reading. My name is not Miss Cleo. Let's talk about that. Okay. So you've worked with it too. I've seen your work. I saw you with the cute little shirt on. I think you look so cool and laid back, but they see you and they think that's what you do. Now, quiet as is kept. I actually do. So, and I've worked with them over and over and over and over again. This is, and until recently, I realized they stopped wanting to pay properly. And I was like, you know what? Keep what you got. But my daughter has done work for them too. They turned my daughter white and they still use her voice. Yeah. But when you sign away your rights as in perpetuity, basically they can use your image and likeness in any way that they want. So you have to be careful with the wording that you utilize when you're working with some of these companies, because then they can do what they want with your image and your likeness because you gave it to them, right? And so those are a couple of things that I have learned over time that I've had to start doing differently. Now, here's something else. Let's put that into perspective. And it blew me away because I was like, that's my daughter's voice and that's her backdrop. Who's the blonde? Sounding like a black girl. I'm confused. It was her words verbatim, but it was a white woman that was doing all of her gestures and everything. And so they're starting to use AI. So one of the things that I do know is that people recognize AI when they see it, even when it's as good as it has gotten. And people say, oh, well, you'll never be able to tell. You will if it is a white woman sounding like a 32-year-old black girl. You will absolutely know. Yes, they did that. Alana, yes, they did. So the opportunities to do specific types of work is changing, right? And one of the things that I've learned how to do in this new space is to look for different opportunities in different ways. So I wanted to kind of take this first 30 minutes to kind of talk about that, because you guys know I am going to come back this evening and we'll talk again. But I had an incident that occurred at my house, and I wanted to kind of bring this up because I think it's wrong looking back on it now. So now that people recognize you and they see you, Alana, and others who are in this space with us, do you find yourself being asked, how can you help me? I want to learn. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? I want to learn what you do. Yeah. So I had someone literally come to me with a friend of hers and knocked on my door yesterday to introduce me to this person whom I didn't know. You were unannounced. And you wanted me to help you learn how to do what I do. Now, mind you, Alana, I believe you and I took a course together when we first started, right? And I wanted to learn all of the things. And so I learned all of the things. And not only did I learn all of the things, I paid to learn how to do what I do. That's number two. Number three, a lot of trial and error. Guys, once again, I say this often, Brownstone Worldwide is not new. We've been around since 2009. So a lot. Yes, please, Alana, say it again. Alana says, paid a lot. It was a lot of money, but it was well worth it because I've made my return on that. And like I said, I got some offers today and I've accepted them. And so they'll be sending over the brief. That's your freebie for tonight, a brief. Yeah, lots of trial and error. Man, when I tell you, it is a different kind of vibe, a different kind of. Cheryl says, hey neighbors, SR Berlinger, you guys know her. So I learned a ton of stuff, but not only that, I've also learned about other things. I had been doing affiliate marketing since 2003. I've learned about collaborations and influencer and all of the things, but let's talk about this. Influencers are now kind of yesterday. Okay. Now I wanted to bring this up because when this woman knocked on the door and she brought this other person into my home, I'll say it again, unannounced. She wanted me to help her to start her podcast over. And she wanted me to do it for free for her. Did you hear what I just said? For free. I've had people say, oh, well, I just want to take a few minutes of your time. I'll have paper and pen ready. Pause. Did you just volunteer me for what you need for free? Right. Oh, no, not cool. You're absolutely correct. Now, I have been doing this now for several years. And now that I'm full time in it, it kind of flips me out a little bit. I don't know if anybody else is, doing this thing full time, but I literally am. And something that I've learned over these last couple of years, especially doing this full time, going from corporate, is number one is you have to learn what you don't know. And then you have to unlearn everything that you thought that you knew, right? Really what this is a new way of advertising and marketing, and the industry has absolutely changed. Do you remember back in the day, you had to say, I have 100,000 followers. Oh, I got 500,000 followers. I got 1 million followers. I got this, I got that. Well, guess what, y'all? Knowledge is transactional. Yes, Cheryl, that is correct. Know your worth. No, it is not for free. It is not. So I took the time to get back to what Cheryl was saying, to educate myself like other people have done. People don't want to pay for it. You know what they want to do? They want to go to YouTube University and they want to piece all of it together. Then they'll go to my live and your live and everybody else's live, and they'll try to piece all of it together, and it still won't make sense, right? Well, the industry has changed, and you no longer have to have 1 million followers. You no longer have to have so many people that are. Now, it's cool to have. Now, for Brownstone Worldwide, I do have a marketing kit. If you go to my stand store, and the link over there, I have to kind of be careful because I know social media is funny nowadays. You'll actually be able to see my media kit, and you'll see when that was produced, when I actually had that produced, the numbers that Brownstone Worldwide gets. I didn't say nothing about creators and influencing and all the things. So none of that matters. What we're talking about is something totally different than from the business, even though me being in this space has absolutely impacted the business. Listen to what I just said, and I need you all to make the connection. Here's another freebie that I got from Casey Brown. Look her up, Digital Kairos. Attention is the new oil. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Attention is the new oil. There are some people that would say, well, oh, I'm leaving TikTok and so forth and so on, and this, that, and the third. Pay attention to what TikTok is doing. You may disagree, but if you are utilizing TikTok for what it is, and it is a business model and a platform for your business, you will ultimately rethink how you want to utilize it to generate revenue for yourself. Because one thing that we know is that it was already on Oracle servers. Now, when they really start impacting what I'm currently doing, I'm out, but not before. And you have to make that decision for yourself, not for anyone else. And so I had to really kind of sit with that. Did I want to go over to fan base? No. And I am over there, right? But you have to make a decision. How much money am I generating? If I'm not generating revenue over there, if I'm making 2 cents in 2 weeks, why? What are we doing? You know what I mean? So I had to make a decision. Here's something that I also want to kind of share with you guys. I say it all the time, and I will say it until the cows come home. These are not your platforms. And I know there are people here that are sitting with me right now that say it, that have heard me say that. These are not your platforms. At any time, the algorithm will change. Anytime. Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, whatever you're on, the platform will change. The algorithm will change to suit the needs of that business. These are just your vehicle to get the people where you want them to go. And are you, question, set up for that? What happens when it goes down? What happens when you wake up one morning and it no longer exists? What do you do? What happens and you have made TikTok Shop your only stream of income and you wake up and find that they banned your account and that $30,000 that's sitting in your account ready for you to cash out, they've taken it and you can't get it back? What do you do? You ever asked yourself those questions? What do you do? And how do you set yourself up for success? I have 9 minutes because remember, I'm coming back tonight. Okay. So I'm doing 30 minutes now, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more. So one of the things that we are doing here at Brownstone Worldwide is, number one, let me just be clear on something else. Can I keep it 100? Yeah. Working on those multiple streams. That's it. I call it the Ecclesiastes Project. Yes. My dad schooled me on that in the book of Ecclesiastes. He is a Berean of the Bible. He schooled me on this, and I believe it's I know it's in the book of Ecclesiastes, and it talks about having multiple streams of income. 7, no, have 8, because you never know which one shall fall. Right? That was a good lesson, Daddy. And I always remembered that. So how many of us can sit here and say, how many streams of revenue do you have? Do you have digital streams of income? Do you have streams of income where they're going to book a hotel for you and let you go and stay and film for them, and you never have to show your face or your hands or anything? Right? Are you prepared for what's coming down the pipe? Because here's what I know. I know that AI is changing the game on how a lot of us are generating our revenue. AI is in restaurants. AI is in your jobs. AI is now doing your data entry. It's creating a lot of the things that took weeks or months or even years to develop. It's taking it minutes. They are laying people off. You just heard me say Morgan Stanley is laying people off. Amazon is laying people off in their robotics division because they believe that that is going to be enough to sustain them over time. And when they realize that AI will eventually, it's already beginning to reason. We've had this conversation here. But again, where are you taking the time to reason for yourself what you need to do for your business? What you gonna do? I got a question. And the question literally should be, what are my next moves? So after this woman stood at my front door, and I'm going to start using this as my story because this literally happened to me yesterday. After I sat at that door, stood at the door, because you can't come and sit down because you weren't invited. Okay. So you can stand there at the foyer and we're going to have this conversation. And you're literally trying to talk me into giving you my knowledge for free. How dare you? You literally stood in my foyer in my house and disrespected me. Yeah, that's what you did. And you didn't even know that that's what you did because you thought because you have a 501c3 that you've had since 1996 that I should just do it for absolutely nothing. The lies you tell. How dare you? Absolutely. Yes, Alana, they absolutely did that. And so I made a decision at that very moment that any doubt that I had, it was out the window at that moment. And I had to go forth with the course that I created. Because for over a year, people have been asking me, why don't you teach the course? I would take the course. Why don't you teach the course? I would take the course. So I created the course. Yes, I did. Y'all want to know what it's called? Of course you do. Of course you do. Yes, it is literally called the Creator Ecosystem Intensive. I had to. Guys, the Creator Cash Flow Intensive online So you're going to say that, the Creative Cash Flow Intensive, and you can go over to the Stand Store and you can see it for yourself, is literally a 4-hour intensive course to get you started. There are 4 segments to it. We're going to be working from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday, March 8th. We're going to be spending time together, and I'm literally breaking it down for you, the things that you think you don't need to get you started. You need to know the 4 P's, okay? And we're going to go over the 4 P's later on tonight when I come back, and I'm going to spend an hour with you. No, it's multiple streams, actually. Yeah. So yes, we are absolutely going to be talking about UGC. We're going to be talking about collaborations. We're going to be talking about affiliate. It comes with a free workbook, because guess what? You're going to use the workbook during the class. You know what this isn't? This is not a way for you to just get the information and do nothing with it. Does that make sense? Everybody should be able to win if that's what you want to do. But you know what you got to do? You got to start with correct structure to begin with. What I'm literally trying to help you do is to cut down the time that it took for me to learn what I learned how to do. And I'm going to keep it real with you. And Alana knows this to be absolutely true. I had to pay for that. To get the knowledge, to get the information. It was not cheap, and I took more than one course. I'm going to tell you this, big shout out to Kimberly Millionaire. I'm going to tell you this, big shout out to Lamar Tyler and Ronnie Tyler of Traffic Sales and Profit. When I tell you I have spent big dollars. And so if I have paid for that information, just like when I was paying for my master's degree and for my PhD, guess what I had to do? I had to pay for it. So you're not just getting someone who learned how to do this. You're getting someone who knows how to package things together and teach it to you. And I want to make sure that you get exactly what you need. There are the 4 P's. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how you become the authority. We're going to be talking about how you set these things up. And then we're going to cut you loose so you can do what you need to do. Hey, Coach Janine, how are you? Good to see you. So again, Creator Cash Flow Intensive is the actual site itself. But guys, it gets even better. There is a code for you to get the course for $99. The code is capital N, Neighbor 99. Neighbor 99. Oh, Cheryl says, Paulette, see it as an intervention motivation. You've spoken about those moments and you're like, yes, I sure did. And I still cannot get over the fact that she wanted me to do it for free. But she's not the only one. Several people have reached out and said, can you teach me how to do what you do? Girl, and when you tell me you got time on your schedule. Wait a minute. So Ashley Kirkwood, a friend of mine, was on social media earlier today. And she said, tell them that you'll check your schedule. She said, that's a way for you to tap into your own, setting your own boundaries. Checking your schedule means that you need to find out whether or not it's worth you taking time out of your life for them to even get to you, to even access you for 15 minutes, because that ain't even free. She said, learn how to start checking your schedule. Let that be your thing. Check your schedule. How dare you come to people and ask them to do something for free, and you're not even going to respect the fact that they took time out to help you through it, because you won't even do it once you get that free information. So you don't have any skin in the game. You don't have any skin in the game, none at all. So the reason why I created this course was, number one, because I felt like it was necessary, because a lot of people have been asking me. So this is what we're going to do. Your access code is Neighbor99. And you're going to learn what is happening if you have not been paying attention to what is happening in these internet streets. You'll see it in real time, because it will be me that will be teaching the class. Hey, Kayshawn, how are you? Hey, Katra America, how are you? I'm so glad y'all here tonight, and I'm glad that we're spending a little bit of time together. I am going to come back because I'm down to 30 seconds, because remember I said I was going to come on for 30 minutes. I'm going to come back later on, and we'll be back in about an hour and a half. I got some other things that I need to do. And I want you all to understand that if you are serious about doing this full time, you have to make some concessions and some adjustments with what you do. And you got to take it seriously, and you got to invest in yourself. You on the bus, girl? All right now. I'm glad you're here too. It's the truth though, Alana. Because I remember, here's something else a lot of people don't know. I'm an Amazon influencer. Nobody knows how hard it was for me to get that. It was crazy. See you later, Contra America. It was insane. I was like, oh my God. It took me like 6 months. I had the numbers. I had everything I needed. Oh, but LTK? What? Well, here's the thing, Mrs. Thompson. Here's what happened. The person that brought her knows where I live, because she lives down the street from me, and she has hired my company to do work for her. So she thought it would be okay. And I thought, how in the HE22 pics do you find yourself? Yes, that's exactly. So she brought her with her because she's all excited. So the video that we did for her won an award. I didn't even know this. So she submitted it, it won, and she was coming by to tell me. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's really nice. Oh, yeah. I think that's great. She was like, I came to take a picture. And this is, and by the way, this is so and so and so and so. Okay. So are you really here to take a picture and da da da? So she had the letter and everything. So she did win, and it was because of, you know, what we did for her through Brownstone Worldwide. I thought, hey, that's great. And she's going to present it in Las Vegas and all the things. And I thought, oh, that's really cool. But you introduced somebody to my home. Yes. Cheryl said, oh, hell no, to your neighbor. Yes. And I realized it's not going to stop. You all will continue to do this. And you're, and you'll take the information or not. And then you'll say, oh, I didn't learn nothing. Because you're never going to do anything with it, because there's no skin in the game for you. You have nothing to lose. You just wasted my time. So I lost time, which means I lost what? Money. And let's keep it real in these streets before I get out of here, because now I'm at 32 minutes. Let's keep it real. Whenever you, as a creator, either as a UGC, you're doing a collaboration, you're on TikTok Shop, you are going live, you are creating content, you and I both know it takes what? It takes planning, it takes filming, it takes locations, it takes execution, it takes editing. And if you're dealing with any kind of company, they may want re-edits. And that takes time. This is work, y'all. This does not take just turning it on and you think it works like that. It does not. There are people out there like myself and others. I do the news. And not only do I do news, I do other things as well. I have physical, real clients. And they want my attention. They want me to bring my equipment. They want us to bring it in. And I don't work by myself. Brownstone Living Magazine has 3 team members that are currently working on the February-March issue now. And then we got to get ready for the rest of the year. We're constantly planning. We already know who's going to be on the cover for the next 8 months. We're constantly meeting. We're constantly talking. It takes work. This is not easy. And so when people come to you after they've seen the beautiful designs of the covers of the magazine and they see, you know, you out here doing your thing, they don't know that you've literally researched everything before you do the podcast, before you literally produce the news, because you have to be careful in this space as well. So this takes time. This takes effort, and this takes working with other people if you have the resources to do that. So for someone to reach out to you and say, I want to learn what you learned, let me tell you when I'm available. I almost laid out on the floor when somebody called and asked me that. And I said, here's the link. Creator Cash Flow Intensive. I'll do one better for you. It's normally going for $397. I have a discount code, Neighbor99, for March 8th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. You'll sit down with me. Not only that, thank you so much for that, Cheryl. I appreciate you for that. Cheryl is on, she's on YouTube right now watching. So thank you for that. So big shout out to all the people that watch us from all over the place, from Brownstone Worldwide. Paulette on the mic. We appreciate you. And I thought, you got a lot of cojones coming in here and asking me to do this for free. I still can't get over that. How dare you? And I didn't think about it until I sit here and I realize the amount of resources and time and money and energy that it took to get to this point. Is not easy. And it's ever changing. So you got to stay on top of that. I'm not even going to tell you how hard it was for me to get LTK. Ridiculous. But I got it. And some of you guys know what LTK is. And so now you're noticing that how I present things to you is different. Because, hey, Mr. Billy Meter, how are you? Yes, it's been a minute. Yeah. So how I'm presenting the news is different as social media changes. Because like I said, I have to follow their flow. Because guess what? Once again, these are not your platforms. But guess what? I also know I have my own. Do you? We're going to talk about that. We're absolutely going to be talking about that on Sunday, March 8th. Remember, it's Creator Cash Flow Intensive. The discount code is Neighbor99. You can find it in my stand store right now if you would like to attend. And if not, you know what? I also have other digital courses as well. All right, folks. I will see you all later on. I'll be back in about an hour and a half or so, but I will be back. All right. And we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk more news and information. But this is also a way of me saying thank you. Because of you guys, I am celebrating right now 235,000 plus viewers, readers, subscribers, listeners to Brownstone Worldwide. That is just in social media terms. That is not Brownstone Worldwide, the company. That's something totally different. Okay. But I appreciate each and every last one of you. This is just my way of saying thank you. And I appreciate you, Coach Janine. I really do. But listen, come and hang out with me on Sunday. That's what I say. If not, I will see you all in about an hour and a half. Maybe make it an hour and 45 minutes. Okay. All right. We'll see you around. Good to see all of you guys.